Hello, we are Capstone Cool Cats. My name is Brandon Wickham,
I'm Brooks Robinson.
I'm Chloe Odessa Cutler.
And I'm Cynthia Leonard.
and this is our iOS app, BOTany, that's made in Swift and Swift UI for watering your plants. Um, Currently, how people would water their plants is they'll typically use like a sticky note, like physically, or like maybe a little journal or a calendar, or like if they're on the, tech or something, they may go into their Apple Calendar or something, and they may set reminders for, oh, water this plant, water this plant, water this plant. Problem with that is you have to set an individual reminder for each one, and it also really clutters up your calendar. Um, Clutters up your calendar with a lot of different things. Let's say if you have 5 different ferns of the same type, that's going to be a little confusing. And a calendar, a physical calendar on your wall can only have so much space on it. So what we tried to do is have a very nice, simple watering app that has a lot of scalability. Our app is very visual, whereas a calendar you can't put a photo up very easily. And reminders apps you could possibly maybe with some of them, but it's not very intuitive. With ours, we're very visual. We have a lot of photos that we pull from Flora Codex showing off these plants just to make them a lot easier to see at first glance. Some technologies we're using for the app, our main one is Flora Codex. Flora Codex is an API that lets us query a certain plant, and it'll send back the name of that plant, the common name of that plant, the scientific name, as well as like the family and genus, and it'll also, very importantly, give us an image URL of the plant if they have one. Most of them typically do. And it makes it very easy for us to take the data from Flora Codex and push it into our permanent data model that's on our iOS app. Um, another technology we're using is FS Calendar. If you'd like to talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So FS Calendar works really well with Swift UI. It's a nice customizable calendar that will let you, really uh, get a calendar that works well with your app. And we've been able to use it for our watering scheduler.
All right, we're also using an animation API called Lottie. If you'd like to discuss that.
So Lottie is a API for app development or web development. It allows you to add very lightweight and scalable animations from your own creations, or it also allows you to choose from animations that other users have created, and it just allows you to really easily integrate it with, in our case, our app.
Alrighty. These all fit together very nicely. Lottie works well with the visual aspect of our app that we're trying to focus on. And the calendar works well with Flora Codex, because with Flora Codex, we take the plant, we push it into our app, and the calendar, like, when it gets created, we take some dates, like when we create it, push that into the calendar, and it all works together very seamlessly. Nothing really feels out of place. The technology we tried and failed at was weather. We tried to use Open Weather Map. That didn't work out very well. And then we tried to use Apple Weather since we had to buy an Apple developer account anyway. But Apple Weather has been having a lot of issues lately and hasn't been very reliable. So we just kind of scrapped the idea. The idea was to have like frost warnings and stuff to get your outside plants in. That would have been nice, but it really doesn't help too much with the final product of the app. So we will get into the demo of the app now. As you can see on here, I have a little simulator pulled up. This is our app. We have the app separated into 5 little tabs with a bunch of different stuff. Where you start out is the search thing. This is where we query Flora Codex. I'm going to type in fern here, and it'll go through. It's taking a little bit to load. I'm assuming I'm using a lot of bandwidth right now, but it shows off the images of these different ferns. Whenever they don't have an image, they'll show up this little default thing, but most of them tend to have images, which is very nice. You can search up a lot of different things in here. You can do like a flower, maybe do like an apple. It has a lot of different options, and it's I don't know the exact numbers, but I'm assuming it's in the millions for number of plants. It's very versatile. Now, all these lists are different navigation links, and when you click on a plant, for instance, it brings you to a little more detailed view of the image as well as the different stuff about it. And then once you decide that you want to add this plant to your garden, you click Add this plant, and this brings up the Add New Plant screen. This is where we'll start interfacing with core data, our database model for this app. So Brooks, if you want to go ahead.
Sure. So on this page, what a user can do is go through and basically add all of this information. So I know the big thing that we like to go for is the nickname that's used in a lot of the app. But as Brandon mentioned, we use core data on the back end of this. So once you add this plant, what happens is it's added to a core data database, and that is saved in the app, so it'll be persistent. You can close the app, restart your phone, do whatever you want. The data is always going to be there. So the reason that we picked core data is that it was very easy to implement with Xcode. It's as easy as clicking one button and adding it into your your Xcode project, and then you just reference in your code, and you can basically use it from anywhere within your code. And that's allowed us to separate it out into views and access all of our data from there. And it's also been very easy to configure. Say, for example, if we wanted to add new features, all we would have to do is just go click a plus button in Xcode, and there we go. For example, if we wanted to add the frost alerts, we could just add that as a Boolean into our data model, and there we go.
Yep, it works very well. And also the notifications.
Yes, so for the notifications, same thing happens for the add plant screen. Whenever you add a plant your first time after installing the app, it's going to ask you if you'd like to allow notifications. And if you do, what's going to happen is every day or every certain amount of days that you specify in the water frequency, you're going to get a local notification sent to your phone telling you that it's time to water that specific plant. And all this is a simple notification request that's done locally on device. There's no remote connections for this. And then once that is done, it'll happen every X amount of days, where X is your watering frequency. And then say, for example, you want to delete your plant. Well, if you go to info cards, you can delete your plant. And what that does is it deletes it from the core data database as well as removes that notification request. So you won't keep getting notifications for a plant that you no longer have. And now you won't receive any notifications for it, and it'll be removed from the database.
All right, thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and add a few more just for the next portion of the demo. Here, I'll add this one. And see with here, you can add it to a lot of different sites and stuff. We'll go ahead and add this to, say, the nursery. All right, Cynthia, if you'd like to talk about the info cards.
All right, so info cards has a pretty straightforward layout. It displays really simple cards showing the nickname, if applicable, of the plant that you added, as well as the image. If you didn't add a nickname to it, it just shows its common name, and if not, it shows its scientific name. If you click in the top right corner, you'll see that right now we're in the nursery, and it shows the plants in the nursery, but you can also go check out the plants that you put in other rooms. So it's really easy to view and organize plants by whatever room they're in. So if you go and click on into a card itself, you'll see that it's more of an expanded view on this plant. You have your nickname that you added if you did add a nickname, common scientific name, and so on. And you also have the light level that you chose when you added your plant, the amount of days that you wanted to have between waterings, as well as the site. And if you scroll all the way down, you'll see that you can easily delete a plant, and you can also easily click out of the card to return back to the info card screen.
Alrighty. Cynthia also did the layout for the watering hub, so if you'd like to discuss about that.
Mm-hmm. The watering hub also has a relatively straightforward layout. It's a bunch of different images of your plants, the same images that were there before, but the images of your plants as well as the nickname or common name, whichever one's more applicable, It has little notifications in the top right corner, little alert notifications that, oh, this plant needs to be watered today. And at the bottom, you have a mark all plants as watered button, which marks all plants as watered. And you also have your view schedule button, which if you click it, it shows a future schedule of all of the upcoming times that you'll have to water your plants in, as per how many days you selected in between. And also at the top right corner, you have a little animation that was added in using the little rain cloud animation since it's a watering hub.
All right, thank you so much. And now to discuss the actual technological aspect of our watering, Chloe.
So what you can do in the watering hub is you can click on the image of your plant and that will allow you to water it. And then its alert exclamation mark will be gone. You can also view the schedule as a list, or you can view it as a monthly calendar on the home page. You can also click each date there and see what plants you have to water. And then you can go to the watering hub, and from there you could mark all of your plants as watered, and the the little exclamation marks will disappear. So you've got the option of a monthly calendar or the option of the list. And as you can see, after you water your plants, it's no longer listed when you click on the date. It's also separated out by your plant sites, which is nice.
Yep, and the calendar is using FS Calendar to show off the little dots for an easy access to see like, oh, I need to water a plant today, and you can easily click on it. Thank you. So yeah, we have it laid out very simply here. Over here in the settings, there's not a ton. It's kind of bare bones in the general. We have a remove all plants just as a general kind of purge, because otherwise it'd be a little annoying to delete individually. Theme, we have just a little thing where we can go in and change the background color of the app, and this persists throughout the entire app very nicely. Return to brown though. For theme color, you can change it to blue, and let's say you go to the search, see this is blue now, this is blue now, this up here is blue now. That all works very well. Go ahead and return to green now. So yeah, that's about our app. It's very simple, but it's also very scalable. As you can see, the scroll view, we don't have any setup that has a ton, but it does work very well with having lots of plants listed out. This is very helpful for a lot of different people, whether you have a few plants and you want it to be very visual, or whether you have a lot of plants and you want it to be very visual. Well, that will conclude the demo. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.